everyone, welcome to another video on my channel. We are going to finish up Lisa's order today. So I do have tutorials up doing this nail, and this set of nails. And then this one here is just an Apres glitter gold gel polish. And then there's just some gold flakes in it. So it kind of gives it like a cool look. And then this set I'm going to show you in this video today. Similar to this one, I'm going to show you this color with some silver flakes and then this really fun marble butterfly design. And Lisa has one more set that we're going to do. And I'm leaning towards doing something really fun with like strawberry nail art. I think that that'll be really cool. When my customers order like a custom press-on set for me, I do include like a one color complimentary set with it. So I'm going to use this purple flash gel as the color for it. Now I first put it down just on its own like this, and I'm sure if I were to build this up with a few more coats then it would have looked a lot more opaque, but I really wanted the background to look a bit more purple, so I decided to take this color here. It's called Freesia from the Luxio brand, and it is like a milky see-through purple type of color, and I did one coat down as the base because that way I was going to have a little bit more of a purple hue to it when I went over top of it with the flash gel. I tend to do this quite often when I'm working with glitter gel polishes. That way I can make it look a little bit more opaque, and you can see even here that the sparkles almost stand out a little bit more by doing this. So now I'm just going to go in and just do the one coat of the flash gel. A lot of times with flash gels or even just like straight glitter gel polishes, they can almost make the nails look a little bit thicker if you go in with multiple coats of it. So I find by just doing like a sheer base like this, it kind of matches the color, that it omits having it being too thick, but you still get like that payoff of the really sparkly nail here. And this purple is just so stunning. I just think it's such a pretty sparkly color. I did end up going in with a second coat of it on top here, just nice and thin. And then I'm going to take some of these Studio Effects silver metallic flakes. You guys have seen me use these basically in every YouTube video since I got them. They just work so well. They basically just like suck down to the dispersion layer of the gel polish that you're working with. Some flakes that I've used in the past, they kind of add like a little bit more bulk and they don't really sit super flat on the nails, but that is not what happens with these metallic flakes. Now for the top coat, I did want it to be super shiny, so I am using the Coco & Claire Radiant Shine top coat. This top coat is quickly becoming a favorite of mine because of how thin it is. It applies really nicely when you're putting it over top of, say, nails like this that are super sparkly. It doesn't add like any bulk to it, and the shine lasts for a really long time. I've been really liking this top coat lately. Now onto the design. We are going to do this like pastel rainbow type of butterfly look, and it is a pretty simple look, but we are going to use a ton of different products, so it's going to give you an idea of a bunch of different products that I have in my collection. Mostly we're going to stick with the Luxio brand of gel polish because these work really good for press-ons. They apply nice and thin, don't add too much bulk, but they have so many like really nice pastel shades as well as a little bit more see-through-y type of shades, which is kind of what I wanted for this look. So we're going to start with this color here. This one is called Breathless, and it is a really nice light blue color, and I'm going to go in and do two coats with it. For the purple nail, we're going to use this color, which is called Breeze, and it's a little bit lighter than the last light purple that you saw in this collection, and it works really good as the base for the nail decals that we're going to do. So I'm going to go in and do two thin coats of this as well. For the pink in this set, we are going to use a new release from Luxio, and this color is called Blossom, and I'm for sure going to have to get this one in the bigger bottle because it is just such a stunning pink. It's one of those colors that goes on really sheer, and if you want it to be super opaque, you're going to have to build it up a bit. But I love this about it because it just makes an excellent background for nail art, and it is beautiful on its own. So I'm just going to go in and do two coats for this one. The yellow shade that I'm using is called Peaceful, and this is just the perfect like banana pastel type of yellow shade. I just think it is such a great color for this time of year and especially for this set. So again, we're going to go in and do two thin coats down of this color. Green that I decided to use is called Gentle, and this is a really nice like lighter moss green, and it pairs really nicely with the yellow and the blues that we picked for this particular set, and it makes an excellent background for nail art. So again, two thin coats down, and then this is what all of the colors look like together on the set. And I don't tend to make all of the nails match. Like you can see the thumb and the thumb on both are not the same color. I have the same color families on the both left and right hand, but they kind of vary on which nail they go, and I love doing that. So I'm going to remove the dispersion layer off of all of these nails because we are going to go in and do some nail decals right on top of the colors here. pulled a whole variety of butterfly nail decals because I wanted each of the butterflies to match the base color. So we're going to start with the purple nail as our background here. So I'm going to grab some purple butterflies for it, and for the most part I put 2 butterflies on each of the nails, except for the pinky finger I just left it as 1 because we are going to do some fun marbling around the nails here. Some gel polishes have a dispersion layer and some do not. The Accents Luxio ones do, so you do have to remove it before you go in and put down your sticky decals. If you're working with something like water decals, the dispersion layer actually works really well to not remove it, but for the sticky decals you want to make sure you remove it. So I'm just going to put 2 different shades of purple down on my little palette here, and these are different shades than the background of the nails that we're doing. And I'm going to take the gel bottle blooming gel, you can use any blooming gel for this, and I'm just going to surround the outside of the nail here for this particular nail. I actually end up going in and covering the whole nail eventually because it does work a little bit better for the marbling technique. Now I want the colors that we are using for the marbling to kind of bleed out a little bit more, but I also want them to be marbled together a little bit. So I'm just going to take a longer striping brush and just get some of the colors put down here. You guys are going to see that I end up switching to an ombre brush, and I find it works a little bit better, but initially I started with a striper brush just to kind of see how it was going to marble and bloom with that blooming gel. So I'm just surrounding it to give it like a really pretty outline with the different colors that we picked. I will have all of the colors listed in the description box below that I end up using for this set, but for the most part I am picking 1 brighter shade of color that match the background and 1 lighter one that we're going to end up doing some fun marbling with. So I have a pink nail, and then the yellow nail I ended up picking one that kind of looks a little bit more orangey, but we are going to tone that down a little bit. And then I've got a really pretty blue and a really pretty green. These are all accents colors as well. And then I am going to take the color that we used as the background for each of the nail and just put it right beside here because that's what's going to make it like kind of marble a little bit nicer together, and will add a little bit of contrast to it. So now the yellow nail on this hand is not her pinky nail, but it is a little bit smaller than the other ones, and I was able to get 2 of the yellow decals down on here, but I believe I had to end up cutting like a little bit of that bigger butterfly off the edge. So just make sure you're doing that if your decals are a little bit too big for the nails. The nice thing about going in and over top of the decals fully like this is that you are sort of encapsulating it with the blooming gel as well, but make sure you're not curing it. You want it to be kind of runny so that you get the look of the marbling through the nail. And I found that using an ombre brush worked a lot better for this technique, so I'm just going to pick up a little tiny bit of each of the colors that I want on the nail and just kind of marble it together so that it gives a really fun marble look, and then I just let the nail sit for a little bit so that that blooming gel can make it spread out a little bit more. Now moving on to the blue background nail, we are going to grab some butterflies that have a really pretty blue tinge to it, and I couldn't find ones that were just fully blue, so you can see that it's obviously got a little bit of green with it, but it's okay because the set ends up looking like a pastel rainbow butterfly set, and so if some of the butterflies aren't exactly the full color, it ends up looking okay. But I'm going to go in and seal these in with that blooming gel, as well as just leave it like it is and not cure it so that I can do some marbling with it. So the ombre brush that I'm using is a gel bottle one, and I really like this one. If you guys see an ombre brush in any of my videos, it's likely this one, because I find that the hairs on it are like evenly spaced enough that it grabs the gels really nicely for not only ombre looks but for marbling looks. I use it a ton for different marble looks, and I'm just placing some of the colors down and just letting the blooming gel kind of do its thing. Now for the pink nail, I did find a few butterflies that were just fully pink like this one here, but one of the butterflies I end up using has like a metallic sheen to it, and I believe it's the only one that I do a metallic sheen with for the whole set, so it kind of stands out a little bit more in this set, but that's okay because pink is my client's like favorite color, so I just wanted to add a little bit of shininess to that particular nail. And then I'm going to go in and put the blooming gel over top, and again we're just going to do some fun marbling. The only thing with the pinks is that I was finding that I wasn't liking how similar the background was looking, like that pink just wasn't popping enough for me, so I end up grabbing a glass gel from Apres, I believe it's called Bubblegum Glow, and I just added like a tiny bit of that into the blooming gel and marbled it a little bit, and I found that this made it so that it popped enough for me, and it kind of matched like the butterfly decals a little bit better. And since I liked how much the glass gel kind of popped with this design, I end up doing that for the green nail as well. So I'm going to put just one butterfly decal down for the green one because I didn't want it to like really overwhelm the nail with having more than one butterfly decal down. And I kind of was thinking that with the glass gel, it would be a little bit nicer if you could see more of the marble to it. So I'm going to go in and put down my blooming gel, and then we're going to pick up that really pretty green color. This is a new release from the Apres Luxio or not Apres, Accents Luxio collection for spring, and it is just stunning. I think I'm gonna have to wear it on my nails because I really, really like it. And then I'm gonna just pick up a little bit of that glass gel and marble it in, and you can see it start to spread really nicely. If I have some like parts of the nail that I have too much like of that darker green in, then I'm just going to go in and pick up the lighter green that matches the background exactly and put that right over top of it. And then I find that it kind of gives like a really nice look and kind of tones down that brighter green a little bit more. And for the last step of this design, I did decide to go in and add some more of those silver flakes to this nail. I just tend to do these quite often. You'll see in many of my designs that there's just like a hint of like flakes throughout them. And I just find it gives like a really nice pop to the nail. And especially if you have clients that really like sparkle or shininess in their nails, it looks really cool to just add a little bit of these flakes to it. I actually think the gold one would look really good with this whole color palette as well, but I decided to do silver because that's what I did with her complimentary set. This is what the set looks like when it's all done and before we have top coated it. It looks really great like this, but I find with marbling, anytime you go in and go with the top coat on top of it, it just really makes everything kind of come together and it makes it look a little bit more clean too. So as much as I like marbling, sometimes if you're looking at the design before you've top coated it, you can't really judge it because it looks a lot better once you do go in with that top coat. So this is the completed look, all top coated. I think it looks better if you see it like as a set here, but this is a really fun design to do. So next we're gonna move on to the strawberry design. So Couleur Jelly Stamper has two full strawberry plates. So there's this one here, and then there's this one here, which is a little bit more like abstract, I guess. I've used this one before. I don't think, oh no, I have used this one before too. So we're going to do something really fun with strawberry nails. And then I was thinking for the actual color, Luxio has this color that I don't think I ever got a chance to use. And it's from their, actually I have no idea what collection it's from, but I got it, I believe in November. And it's this really sparkly red color. And I thought it'd be fantastic for strawberry nail art, as well as the color that is on my nails, which is this one from their new spring collection. It's called Glitch, and it's just like a beautiful red color. So I thought we could come up with something really cool using those. I do have her nails all sized and ready to go here. I actually even like filed the tip and prepped them. Like these are legit ready to go. I think to pair to pair with her nails, I think I'm actually just gonna do a straight red set for it. I don't know if I've ever done just a straight red set for it, and I'm absolutely loving this red. It is just perfect. Such a perfect color. So I'm going to do just a plain red set for her first. And this gel polish applies so nicely, like in one coat. I did do two on my nails with it, and I'm going to do two on Lisa's too, but I'm actually thinking I might make these sparkly. And then when I'm working with press-ons, a lot of times you'll see me either flip the nail around this way or, hang on. Flip the nail around this way, or else you'll see my brush going back here and bringing that color back. And that's just to make sure I don't get like a big bulge at the cuticle here, because that can happen quite easily with press-ons. I think I'm gonna have to get this one in like a full-size bottle because I'm gonna use this up in no time. I just love it. So that is one coat. I definitely think it needs a second one, but even just one coat with that color is very, very pigmented, very concentrated. I'm gonna figure that a little bit longer because I don't think I got the pinky as long as I wanted it to go. I'm hoping this doesn't look too Christmassy with this red. If it does, I'm just gonna do just red, but I'm really curious to see what this sparkly red does over top of that really bright one. See, I feel like it looks too Christmassy. Pearl, you have your own bed. Actually, I'm gonna leave it. That's really pretty. I really want her little strawberries to be like sparkly anyway. And this is her like complimentary set that I include with the custom orders on my site. That way she's got some just solid red nails to wear, and if she wanted to tone down the nail art that we're gonna do, she could just wear a couple of nails of these and then wear a couple of the strawberry nails if she wanted. Top coat, I'm just about out of my accents one, so I'm gonna save it for nail art because I like how it seals over top of different nail art. But I have been using the Coco and Claire Radiant top coat lately, so this is a different top coat than they have another one too. I think it's just Top Shine, something like that. Anyway, this one here I'm finding is a little bit more of like a runny and thin consistency, so I like the application of it, and it is super shiny. So we're gonna make these nails super shiny. Usually when I am working on like a bigger press on order or just as I'm done nails, I tend to just put them straight on the card because I find it so much easier to do it this way than putting them all on the card afterwards. But this is what the card is looking like so far with the rainbow butterfly set, the purple reflective set, and then this beautiful red set. I feel like everybody needs like a nice red set in their collection. So we're going to move on to the actual strawberry nails now, and I'm going to start off by doing some French tip nails. So I wanted to put a little bit of that red down on my palette so that I can take a long striper brush and create the outline of my French tips. Now I love a dramatic French tip, but if this is not your style, you definitely don't have to do it like this, but I just really love how it looks, especially on press-ons. So I usually like to start by doing my outline, and then I go in with the polish on the bottle to actually fill it in, and I find that this just works pretty decent for me. And then if there's anything that like doesn't look very clean, I can always go back in with my striper brush and just kind of clean up the edges a little bit. And sometimes when I do French tip, I will do the whole pink color as the base first and then do my French tip on top. But other times like this one, I decided to just do the red right away because I wasn't too sure how many layers I was going to have to build up for this red. I end up just doing one of the red color on its own and then going in and adding the sparkle on top of it. And for the pink color that I'm going to use as the base, I picked this one from Luxio, and this one is called Shell, and it's a little bit more of like an off-white pinky type of color, and I thought it would work really good for this set because we're going to do some of the nails a beautiful red, and then we're also going to go in and do some of the nails like a really nice pink. So I think that I thought that it would work really nicely for it. So I do go in and do 2 coats of this one just to build it up a little bit more. And I knew that I wanted some of the nails to be this really pretty red color, but I also wanted some of the French tips to be a pink color. So I picked this one from Apres. I thought that it matched the best with the shade of pink that I was able to create the 3D strawberry with that you guys are going to see coming up. And I did the exact same steps here. I just outlined my French tip in this really pretty pink, and then I go in with the polish in the bottle and just do the rest of it. On here, I just find that this works really well, but definitely comment below and let me know how you guys do your French tips on your press-ons, like what works the best for you, because I've seen lots of people do like different techniques for it, but this is kind of what I find that works the best. And I'm going to use the exact same pink color to fill in like the milky base, and I'm going to do 2 coats of this one as well, cure it, and then you guys know that whenever I'm doing a French tip, I'm more than likely going to add a sparkle line to it. So we're going to take this really beautiful flash gel again, and I really liked the shade of this because I thought it was like a little bit more spring than doing something that was a little darker. However, when I get to putting this on the pink nails, I think it looks a little bit more watermelon than strawberry, but it still kind of works because when we do the stamping for the nails, I'm going to use a green that is very similar. I'm really happy with how these flash gels worked for a glitter line because some glitter gel polishes just don't stand out as much as I would like them to for this particular technique, but this flash gel worked really well for it, and I think that it's going to kind of work when we get the whole design to come together. For the art, we are going to do some reverse stamping as well as create a 3D strawberry. And again, we are going to do some reverse stamping in this video, and I am just having way too much fun with this technique. I had a lot of really good suggestions about working with the reverse stamping technique in my last video from you guys, and many of you said that you prefer to work on like a remove dispersion layer versus like a matte top coat with this technique because you find that it just sticks a little bit better and the lines all kind of come through with it. So that's kind of what I did in this video. I removed my actually, I don't even know if I removed my dispersion layer. I don't really think I did. And I was able to get the reverse stamping to stick really nicely to it. So if you don't know what reverse stamping is, you stamp your design onto your stamper here, and then you just go in and you fill in the color versus doing like the layered stamping. And this technique works really good if you just have a bunch of outlines and you don't have, say, layered stamping, or if you struggle with like lining up your layered stamping. And another thing that I really like about the reverse stamping technique is that you can marble a whole bunch of different colors into it, which we're going to do with some of the strawberries coming up. And you can also work with like multiple colors at once before you go and stamp your design down. So the first one here, I'm going to do opposite colors. So if it's a pink background, then I'm going to stamp down like a red strawberry for it. And then on the nails that are a red French tip, we're going to do a pink strawberry. I love doing opposites like that. I just kind of think that it makes the whole design cohesive and it comes together pretty good. So for these first two that you're seeing, we're just doing like one strawberry on the nails, but I am making sure that I'm incorporating like some really pretty pinks again for the strawberry, and then some really nice greens that match that flash gel as best as I could with the colors that I had in my collection. Now for the pink here, I did go in and use just like a straight color pink, but I also had like a metallic one kind of marbled into it, and it looked really cool. So I am going to use a couple different fruit plates for the other strawberries. CJS has a whole bunch of like really nice, just multiple fruit plates. And what I like about them is they have a lot of greenery with them, which was something that was important to me to incorporate into this design, so we can tie that green line that we did underneath the French all together. So I found this really cute strawberry with this one that has tons of greenery on it. Now the painting is obviously sped up quite a bit here for you guys, but these polishes do dry really quickly, which is the benefit of them for stamping, but that is why I'm like using so much of them here, is because it does tend to dry up pretty quickly. But I really like the different effects that we can get with it. So this is the other plate that I end up using. It again is a multi-fruit plate, but it has some really nice like hanging strawberries on it that I thought would be really cute for a different design. So these ones I'm going to paint in pink, and I'm able to make like the 3 different strawberries here all in one go, a different shade of pink. So I'm going to marble some of the metallic pink and then do one as like a flat pink, and then the other one is just the metallic pink. And then for the greenery, I'm also doing 2 different shades of green. I'm using one that has a metallic hue to it and one that just has like the nice chartreuse green look to it. Now the last strawberry that I'm going to do one that is red and then one that is pink, and I think this is a really fun technique to do with the reverse stamping, is just add as many colors in as you can. It turns out really cool, and you're just having to stamp the image down once as opposed to stamping down a bunch of different layers to get a similar effect. Now, I am no pro at doing 3D nail art, but I have these Sissy Clay 3D gels in my collection, and I have played around with them a little bit, but they are really fun to work with. And so I picked this really nice bright pink one. I ended up doing a red one in like on the other nail, but I didn't ever film that because I was just trying to play around with it before. And for this one, I did a bit of a different technique where I stamped the strawberry down on my little piece of paper that I have here. That way I knew exactly how big I was going to make the strawberry. This is kind of a good technique if you're not really sure how big you need your outline to be. However, that stamping is definitely going to transfer to your strawberry here. So if I was to do this again, I would pick a stamping polish that like matched it instead of one that was like pretty bold like this brown one here. But all I'm doing is trying to shape out my strawberry. I initially put the clay down, and then I'm going to go in with either alcohol, or you can use like a nail prep, which is what I used here. and I just pat the alcohol with a silicone brush onto the design to kind of smooth it all out and get it to be more of the shape that I want it to be. And I'm just digging the little silicone tool like kind of underneath to create like a more like firm outline with it. And then when I'm done, I'm going to go in with a little toothpick and just add some little dots in it for the strawberry. Then I'm going to cure it. And if you don't have these little papers, you can just work on the back of a form. Like once you peel the sticky off of the form, you can just use that. So I am going to do like a little bit of greenery with it. I picked this kind of chartreuse color for it, and I'm just gonna like put my clay down on the nail here and try and like pull a little bit of the greenery out to make it more like a leaf. I'm gonna zoom in here right away and you guys will get a better look at what I mean, and you'll actually be able to see what I'm doing without the camera focusing on my gloves as opposed to what I wanted it to focus on. But to create a little bit more definition in my leaves, I'm just gonna take like one of these little tools that I have for mixing up my gel polish, and I'm able to create like more of a leafy type of look with that particular tool. And then I'm going to take a smaller silicone tool here and I'm just going to shape out the leaf a little bit more. After I've cured the leaf, I'm going to go back in with some of my beamy leaf gels and just add a little bit of sparkle to the centers of the strawberry here. And then I did go in and add a little bit of that reflective glitter to the leaf as well. I have all of my beamy leaf gels in a little watercolor palette like this, and I'm so glad that I did this because I reach for this thing all of the time. I decided to go back into the French tip nails and add some little dots on top of them, and I'm using my gel bottle dotting tool. Again, I featured this in a favorites video. I absolutely love it because the one tip is super small, but I'm just going to add a few little spots on here in a darker brown color just to make it look a little bit more like a strawberry. This part was completely optional. You could totally skip doing this, and I think the French tip nails look really good. Now on top of the pink nails, I went and used a different brown from like Beamy's leaf gels. It was a little tiny bit lighter, but I don't know if I love it. I tried a few different colors before I settled on this one. I think like maybe a brighter pink would have worked a bit better. I'm not too sure. It ends up looking cute around like the whole set when you put it together. Now for the 3D, I'm just gonna pull off my strawberry, but you can see, yes, like some of that stamping transferred. So I was able to get some of it off with a little bit of acetone just around the edges. I didn't care if it was on the back because that's going to be stuck down on the nail anyway, but I didn't really like seeing it like poking through on some of the edges. Taking some of my Glitter Mix Canada like bling gel, I'm just going to put some of that down on the nail. I'm going a little bit bigger than the strawberry itself because I do want to surround it with some crystals too, but I'm going to get my strawberry put on, and then while that gel is still wet, I'm going to go in and put my crystals around it. Now, when I did the other nail first, the other like hand of this set, I cured the gel first and then went in and did the crystals, and I think that might be a little bit of a better way to do it versus like trying to do it all at once, because as much as I love the Glitter Mix Canada gel, once you kind of have your crystals put on here and you haven't cured it yet, it does kind of move quite a bit, so you have to like watch that. You have to move kind of quickly when you're putting the rest of your crystals down. And our last step for this design is to just top coat everything. Now I am finding with the reverse stamping that my polishes are tending to be a little bit thicker, so you definitely want to make sure everything is completely dried, especially for your stamping, before you go in and do your top coat. And when I am sealing it, I'm also dipping my nail like upside down like this to make the gel pool where I want it to, so that it'll cover over top of all of those polka dots. She's still going to be able to feel some of those polka dots through, but for the most part I was able to cover it quite a bit by just turning the nail upside down before I cured it. And when you're sealing around genuine crystals like these ones, you want to make sure that you don't top gloss on top of the crystals because they will lose their shine. If you're working with like acrylic gems, then it's a little bit different. They can be top glossed over. But this is the completed look here. I think it turned out so fun and something a little unique for this time of year. I'm just going to get Lisa's order all packaged up here, and I get many questions as to what kind of tool I use to put the nails down. It's actually just like a stir stick that you would use for stirring drinks, and I found a bunch of them on Amazon, so I have a whole bunch of different colors, but this is her completed order, and I am going to get it all packaged up here so it's all ready for her, and it's in the mail. It's on its way to her now. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope I gave you some really good tips for some different spring nail art. Make sure you're following me on all of my social media, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!